Hello, I'm Nox Humans, and we're going to be going through this Cloudgoat scenario on SNS Secrets. I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Cloudgoat create SNS Secrets. Anyway, so I'm doing this as part of the Introduction to AWS Pentesting course by Tyler Ramsby, and this is like the capstone in 9. Anyway, it's the second capstone course. Yeah, so what is Amazon SNS, and what does it allow you to do? So when I was reading about it, I kind of, in my mind, compared it to MQTT. From what I've read, Amazon Simple Notification Service, Amazon SNS, is a messaging system, and it's used from application to application, application to person. It is used in FIFO messaging, notifications, sending out like text messages and emails. So you have a subscriber and a publisher, and one will send out like alerts and updates and notifications and so on and so forth, and the other one will receive it. And this can be combined with various other Amazon services for like automation purposes. HTTP, let's see if we can get like an overview of it. Yeah, let's see what this overview says. Oh, this is the overview page. Wonderful. Wonderful. AWS SNS. What is, dog? What is Amazon SNS? You can load, you can do it. Amazon SNS is a fully managed service that provides message delivery from publishers to subscribers. Publishers to subscribers. You publish, you subscribe to a topic, I believe, and then the publisher sends messages to the subscriber. SNS topics can receive messages through different endpoints. Lambda, probably automation of some sort, like, I don't know, something happens and it triggers SNS to send you a message that says you've hit users, or a lot of requests are happening here on this endpoint. I don't know, something like that. You can get emails. You can sign up to receive like emails or SMS messages based on the protocol that you set when you're configuring SNS. But anyway, let's kind of look at this scenario and then we'll start going through it. So the scenario resources that are going to be used are one EC2 instance, one SNS topic, one API gateway REST API, one IAM role, and one user. We're going to be given the access key and secret key of a single user. And then the final flag, the goal is to get the final flag by invoking the API gateway with the leaked API key. In this scenario, you're giving AWS credentials. Your task is to enumerate permissions to discover that you have the ability to listen and subscribe to SNS topics. Use Paku's new module, SNS Enumerate, SNS Subscribe to subscribe to the topic. You receive an email from that topic containing an API key as a debug message. Next, use the AWS CLI to enumerate the API gateway and find the path, method, stage, and resource of the API gateway. Finally, perform a curl request with the API key to retrieve the final flag. So there's going to come a point where I'm going to need to obfuscate my email address, and then I'll just try to show you my the emails that I'm actually getting. But anyway, let's go ahead and configure this profile. Configure AWS, configure profile, and then I'm going to call it SNS. And the reason I'm going to call it SNS is because it's SNS user access key ID. So I'm just going to call it SNS to keep it simple. And then there is the access key. Here is the Nope, sorry. No, that was right. Yeah, access key. This is the secret key. And then we're going to go for US East 1 and then JSON for the format. And then we can AWS STS get caller identity profile SNS. Yes. Awesome. So we can see that our access key and ID are valid. The first thing that I would like to do is see if I can get list out any users. We'll go all the way down to users. Profile SNS. Nope. Roles. That's not going to work. Roles. Nope. Groups. Okay. Let's see about AWS. IAM list. User policies, help. username is required. -- user - name profile SNS. I'm actually going to need to go back and get that. AWS IAM STS get caller identity SNS. Here we go. Let's go ahead and just copy this over here. And then I can grab user's name and apply this, and we can get a list of the policies. Awesome. And then we should be able to get AWS IAM list. Nope. Let's get. Yeah, let's get policy. Can we get user policy? Get user policy. We can. Awesome. And then add the policy name, which we have here, so that we can actually see what is applying to us. Let's copy, and then I need to fix this. There we go. Policy name, user name. There we go. Okay. So here we have a list of what all we can do. We can subscribe to this SNS, receive SNS, SNS list subscription by topic, SNS list topic, SNS get topic attributes, IAM groups for user, list user policies, get user policy, list attach user policy, API gateway get. However, we cannot send a GET request to any of these. Not that that matters too much anyway, because currently we don't have the API key. But we now know that we kind of need to focus on SNS and maybe less IAM, and we can work there. But anyway, let's see if we can subscribe to this feed with AWS SNS list topic. So we need to list all the topics out first, and then we'll do that with our profile of SNS. Awesome. We can paste that over here for later. Great. And then from here, now that we have the topic ARN, we should actually be able to subscribe to the topic. So we can do that with AWS SNS subscribe. And we can set our actually, what do I want to do? What do I want to do first? What do I want to do? Let's do protocol. We'll say email. We'll do the topic ARN, and we'll set that to this topic ARN. Maybe. There we go. And we'll set the region to US East 1, the profile to SNS, and then the final thing that we need, and I'll have to blur this out or something along those lines, is the notification endpoint, and this will be your email address in this case. So I'm going to put mine in, and then before too long, I should be receiving an email. I'm going to do that on my other screen, and I'll show what I end up seeing, so you'll see it as well. Okay, so here is the confirmation email, and then this will be the what occurs after I've clicked the confirmation subscription. So we can see that I received an email from the topic, and then I did confirm that I wanted to subscribe, and then I received a subscription email. From there, I'll actually start receiving based on this and how they have it configured, I'll receive the same email every once in a while. We actually will be waiting for another key, which I should be receiving very soon. Actually, I just did. So this is it. And it is an API key. Let me go ahead and grab the actual text. Awesome. Sweet. So what can we do with this? We see that it's the API gateway key, so we can use that to access the API gateway. Let's see if I have it pulled up. REST gateway, a lot of options here. To actually access the API gateway, we need to create this URL to access the REST API, and then we're going to have to get the app ID. We know what the region is, the stage name, and then whatever resources we actually can target, since we can see here that we do not have access to any of these resources, API keys, REST APIs, all of that. We have a implicit deny. So at this point in time, we cannot reach those endpoints. But first things first, we need to build this URL, which we can do with a few commands. And let's go ahead and do this. I'll need my notes because I'll have to save some of this information. So we can use the AWS, and then we can actually use a API gateway module, and then we'll get the REST APIs, and we'll set our profile of SNS, and then the region of US East 1. And then from here, we are interested in the ID and name. There we go. Wonderful. We know what the region is. We need the stage, and there's a module for that. So we can go get stage, get stages, profile SNS, region, US East 1, and then we need to supply the REST API ID, which I believe is this. Awesome. So now we have the stage name, which is the other thing that we needed. And the next thing that we can do is send a request to get resources. So we'll do that with get resources, profile SNS, US East 1, and then we can see the endpoints here. Awesome. So the path is user data, which it allows get requests. So now what we can do is we'll take and we'll build this the API gateway URL, and then we'll be able to use our API gateway key after that, and we'll just set it into a header value in a curl request. So let's go ahead and do that. It will be https:// Actually, I think I can just grab it from over here. Awesome. So the stage name is prod. User data. It's a resource. The app ID is right here. We know what the region is. It's US East 1. Let's make sure this is right. So we have the ID, the region, the stage name, and then the resource path. Okay. Awesome. So now that we have this, we can start crafting our curl request. Curl, HTTP. Need to send, set the header. And to call a method using an API key, it uses this method right here. So we'll curl header x API key. And then we'll apply our API key that we obtained. X API key, and then we need to grab it up here. Awesome. Okay. Fingers crossed this works. It doesn't. Missing authentication token. I don't think it is. I think I see the problem. I said date, but I think it's data. Awesome. Okay, cool. So this is actually the end of the scenario. Anyway, that's the flag, and see you in the next one. Bye.